So what you're taught as a kid is that if you want results, slowly with time, you just have to keep working and slowly you'll grow and eventually you'll hit your dreams, right? Well, not really. I've been thinking about this quite a bit, but progress isn't linear. But we all had dreams as a kid. We had things that we fantasized about, different aspirations, different goals, different fantasies. As a kid, you have a very special power, and that is that you are unique and rare. Nobody like you has ever existed before. And the psychologist Maslow, he talks about something called the impulse voices of children. And this is basically where kids really deeply understand who they are, what they like, what they don't like. I remember as a kid, I watched the movie Good Will Hunting, and I saw Robin Williams playing a therapist. And it really struck me because I was like, wow, this is such a good career. It sounds so interesting to be able to spend your days helping people with their deep problems. It sounded really meaningful. Now, as you get older, you start to hear a lot of different voices and opinions. You hear the opinions of your parents, school, your friends. A lot of different people are trying to influence you. And what happens is that you start to become lost and confused. You get to a point where you yourself, you don't really understand what you want or what you don't like. That deep connection you used to have with yourself as a kid, where you really clearly understood who you are, is now gone. And it's gone now because you've been so conditioned to listening to the opinions of others that you've lost this deep sense of connection you used to have with yourself. Now, I struggled with this for a long time. I got a degree that I didn't really care about. I got a degree in civil engineering, and it was really boring. It was really meaningless. Sometimes I would design a parking lot. I would literally study concrete. And a lot of this was because I listened to the people around me, and I didn't really listen to myself. So a lot of that pressure started to blind me to what I wanted. So how do you reclaim this voice inside of yourself? How do you really remember what you want and what you like? Well, the first thing to remember is that you still have that voice deeply buried within you, and it's coming out in all sorts of different ways. So the first step is to think about what do you fantasize about. You know, when you're driving home from work, is there something that really appeals to you? Is there a fantasy that keeps popping up in your head over and over again? What do you daydream about? Those kinds of things need to be paid attention to. So the second thing you have to do is you have to dig into the past, and you kind of have to act like a historian about yourself. You know, before people told you what to like, what did you like doing? What kind of toys did you play with? What subjects did you like? What could you talk about for hours with other people? What questions did you ask? You have to dig deep to remember what you were doing back then. What really appealed to you back then before everyone else started pushing their opinions on you? And the last thing is isolating yourself is really valuable. You know, if you take a period of time where you're not listening to anyone else by being physically alone, then you have a chance for your inner voice to really start to come out. I remember I was trying to do a series where I was biking across the Balkans, and I was trying to ride a bicycle from Austria to Istanbul for like YouTube, and it did not work out at all. It was a disaster. I really wasn't good with camera work, a whole bunch of stuff, but made it across 4 countries. But what I learned most importantly from that session is that because I was alone, because I didn't have anyone else talking to me, I was just listening to my own thoughts, I really understood like, hey, I don't really like civil engineering. It doesn't really matter to me. But I really like working with people, helping them in any way I can. So through that bike ride, through those 6 weeks when I was alone, I understood that I want to become a psychotherapist. And that's how I decided to change the trajectory of my life. Alright, so this is actually what success looks like. For a very long period of time, nothing really works. It takes a long time to learn something. And everything in life takes a while. So for a very long time, nothing works out. And you'll keep breaking at your weakest point. That's something I'm trying to learn with like videography and psychotherapy. It's like, for example, why do I struggle with making videos? Well, I have anxiety when I talk to the camera. So I have to overcome that if I actually want to get results and start being a good video maker. So eventually, over a long period of time, if you just keep working at something, you just keep toiling away, you won't get anything. But one day, things will snap. And you'll eventually get a lot of things you want. And eventually you'll hit your dreams. So it's something I've been thinking about a lot. Great things take time. Everything great in life, it doesn't really come fast. It comes slowly. Make sure you have patience with it. You know, with YouTube, I'm trying to be more patient now because I've started to think about the fact that if you actually want to become really good at video making, yeah, it's going to take like 5 years. It's going to take 10 years. You know, you wouldn't be mad at a dentist for not being able to be a dentist within like 6 months of their education. So the same thing with YouTube. It takes a while. Same thing with psychotherapy. It takes a while for you to grow and excel into something. So, yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching.